minutes to this young man in the latter half of the season. Freshman from El Paso, Texas. You really like this young guy, don't you, Baker?
Well, I just like him in combination with Singletary. He's just a more confident player, and I think they play off of each other very well.
Osby picks up the foul. We've got a timeout. You remember a couple of weeks ago, another cardiac night as Wake upset Duke. Beating Teague, who's open again for a three. Oh, a throwdown. The crowd in Winston-Salem will tell you all you need to know.
The new 2009 Mitsubishi Galant Sport Edition. More things than you'd expect for less than you'd think. Hop in, it's go time.
With all the credit card offers out there, how do you find the right card for you? It's easy at creditcards.com. You control the process online with no hype, selling, or pressure. It's secure, easy, and free. Find the right card for you at creditcards.com today.
It's dip-off time!
Oh, it's playing time, baby! Slam jam, bam! Give up the rock, baby!
Oh, you guys are awesome, baby!
You guys are lame, baby, with a capital L. But Hooters food is prime time, baby!
Watching the games, pampering from the Hooters girls, drooling over your food. Yeah, Hooters makes you feel like a kid. Please save the babies for Dickie V.
That was awesome, baby! What?
Sometimes even cold weather needs a refreshing twist. Miller Chill, the only light beer brewed with a hint of lime and salt. Chill is in the air.
The Pacific Life Open comes to FSN. World #1 Roger Federer and Australian Open champ Maria Sharapova headline the field as 250 of the world's best men and women players vie for the crown in one of the biggest events of the year. Week-long coverage of the Grand Slam of the West culminates with the men's and women's final live. The Pacific Life Open from Indian Wells. Coverage begins Saturday on FSN.
Maryland leads by 3. Wednesday, 10 teams begin their quest to win the Pac-10 championship, earn the automatic NCAA tournament bid. Our coverage of the Pacific Life Pac-10 men's basketball tournament begins on Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, in high definition only on FSN. And as we mentioned, all of those conference tournament games mean so very much to the middle of the pack in all of those leagues. Mike, you mentioned this, I believe, a few weeks ago when you were talking about your senior night and the night that they retired your jersey. I believe you said, I didn't remember, nor did I feel like I could remember how to play basketball for the first 10 minutes. And you felt that all the way through.
Well, and part of the reason was they didn't tell me they were going to retire my jersey that night. So I was just crying. And it was just emotional enough knowing that was the last time I was going to play in Cameron Indoor Stadium. So you put all that into it, and then I really kind of sleptwalked through that first 10 minutes. It was against Clemson. We wound up winning the game in overtime, but it was just a powerful, powerful thing to go through.
Vasquez giving it up to Gist. Defended well by Tucker and Pettinella, out of bounds. Last touch by Gist. I noticed that Dave Lato, during the most recent timeout, got his All-America Singletary on the bench to sit down for a moment. And you can see, I mean, I think the emotions did get the better of him early. 0 for 2 from the floor, 1 assist and 1 rebound so far.
Well, and you don't want to come off the floor. I mean, he wants to be out there for all 40 minutes right now, and I think it was a good idea by Dave Lato just to give him a little rest, kind of calm down a little bit, get back into this ball game. Like, I can guarantee it won't be a long rest for him.
Yeah, Jones lost the dribble off his own knee, and Maryland gets it back after the turnover.
If you're Gary Williams, this is about as good a start as you could hope for in this game. You've come out, you've shot the ball pretty well, and you've defended well.
Vasquez staying with it. And again, a hustle play on the part of Gravis. Keeps the basketball as he was able to throw it off the shin of Jones. See Mamadi Diani now checking Gravis Vasquez.
And Tim, you know, we talked about last week's game. If there was a positive,
that's an offensive foul against Vasquez
that came out of it. Maryland's bench played very well in that game.
Yes, they did.
And you know, it was the starters that came in. There was turnovers at the end that eventually undid them. But I think Gary Williams gained some confidence in that second unit. Here's the look. This is yet another turnover for Gravis Vasquez, and Pettinella stepping in and giving up his body. Good job for him stepping in.
16 fouls for Maryland, only 1 for Virginia. And Vasquez was holding his hip as though he hurt himself a bit on that drive. Tucker had it deflected. Carl Hess is ruling it out of bounds. I thought surely that ball was deflected, but he didn't get any help from his friends.
Dave Lado is beside himself. He can't understand the call. Yeah. Looked like a block to me.
Yeah. And Carl simply just did not see it. He needed some help from either Brian Dorsey or Roger Ayers, and neither one saw it. It happens from time to time.
There's a look there. Yeah, clearly, I mean, that ball is it's not shot that poorly.
No.
It was knocked out of bounds.
But Carl was looking, and his responsibility was another area. Gist. Singletary fighting for it. Over the back, he is fouled. As you see the work being done by Adrian Bowie just into the game, he picks up the personal. Already we're in the bonus, already in the 1-and-1. We want to take a little time to send out our condolences. Tonight, a funeral was held this afternoon in Athens, Georgia for 22-year-old Eve Carson, the North Carolina student president who was found shot to death on a residential street in Chapel Hill. Our thoughts and prayers to Eve's family and the North Carolina campus community. Notice last night, prior to the Duke-North Carolina game, they had a moment of silence, which was certainly apropos.
It's a senseless tragedy. It makes you step back and wonder what kind of world we're living in.
Absolutely. And as the father of a couple of daughters, believe me, it hits near and dear to home. Bernie. Well, he didn't wait too long to launch a shot, did he?
No, he really made his impact last week on the defensive end of the floor, and I think that may be the one that opens up the floodgates.
You think? There's that usual swagger that we see from number 44 after he put that one in. A 6-0 run. We had an opportunity earlier today to speak with Sean Singletary. We asked him about his UVA career.
Putting on that Cavalier jersey and playing in front of a packed crowd day in and day out, and you know, going on the road and having Virginia fans there. I mean, I'm just real happy, and I really appreciate all the support, you know, Cav fans have shown across the country. And without them, you know, I wouldn't be able to get my jersey retired, or wouldn't be able to have as much success as I've had in my career.
The senior from Philadelphia with a really proud moment. Prepped at William Penn Charter School. His mom and dad had a chance to visit with him, Mike, and there's absolutely no doubt he came from quality stock. Mom and dad did a tremendous job with him. Osby fouled by Pettinella.
I don't know if there's a program in the ACC that has relied on a player more in the last 4 years than this program has relied on Sean Singletary.
Agreed. And he lost his running mate, J.R. Reynolds, of course, who's now playing in Europe. There's mom and dad, Harold and Jackie. By the way, I believe Harold told me prior to the game, he said, it's nice to meet you. He said, I remember you and Mike said, did you see that when he made a play in the NCAAs last year? And he said, well, I like you guys. I said, well, we like your son. Let's go over to Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Well, Tim, I had a chance, too, to talk to Sean's mom, Jackie, and you're right. You can clearly see